All right, welcome everyone. Namaste. My name is Dana Saray, and I'm so excited to welcome you all here to this live offering with Juan Pablo Barahona and myself. I am the founder of Hanuman Academy, and Juan Pablo is offering the fire module in our 5 elements of yoga online immersion. And so this immersion is just super powerful, and we're just so grateful to have Juan Pablo's masterful teachings as well as the teachings of 4 other really amazing teachers, Saul David Ray, Sienna Sherman, Janet Stone, and Sri Devi Bringi. So Juan Pablo is teaching the fire element, and he has such a well of wisdom around the topic that we're exploring tonight, the topic of self-love. So I'll pass it over to you, Wampa, and he's going to bring us into an invocation and a little introduction of who he is, and we'll go from there.
Thank you so much. Such a blessing, such an honor to be with you all and to be part of Hanuman Academy. I love it. I love everything that's happening and how people are opening, and it's just so beautiful to see that online we can go so deep too. So thank you for having me, and especially in this team that I love so much. I really love going deep with people in all about love relationships, and definitely we have to start with ourselves. So for me, I've been doing this almost 20 years, just traveling all over the place, helping people to awaken their true self, their divine self, and releasing whatever is holding them back for being who they really are. So to share this with the world. In the theme of self-alchemy, I feel it's very important when we are addressing and calling in relationships in our life too, and wanting to have a love relationship, to call a partner in our life, somebody that can meet us at the frequency we're at. For that, we have to start our own alchemy. It's super important because we have to remember that we are just magnets, and we attract. Our vibration attracts the same vibration. So instead of looking for somebody ideally that I imagine with my mind, the mind can be useful, yes, but it's super important to keep our frequency up. Anything we can do to be the best version we can be of ourselves, and that's gonna just call the person that is resonating in the same level. So it just happens. We're not looking for it. We're not out there seeing when it's gonna appear and if it's here or not. It's not out there. It happens naturally. We just trust, and all we have to focus is in our self alchemy. So that's where I always start my courses. Whenever we're doing like loving relationships and stepping it up, it starts with self love. Yeah. So let's do a little invocation, just connecting with love. And I love the word aham prema. That's the Sanskrit mantra. Aham is I am. The universe is like the universe manifests. And then ma prema is of the universe expanding from me out there. At the end, it's the same. We are one, but it's good to realize, to accept that love embodies in me, in every cell of my being. So I'll just do it 3 times. You can join me if you want to. I encourage you, inspire you to bring your hands to your heart and connect with your intention of stepping up the frequency and bringing love to every cell of your being. Inhaling deep. Aham prema maha prema aham prema maha prema aham prema maha prema. I am love. I accept in every level of my being that love is my natural state. It's nothing outside of me. It's nothing to look for. It's all about accepting who I am. So thank you all for being part of this journey together, for raising up the frequency together, for stepping up as a tribe, as a community. Love it.
Beautiful. Thank you, Wampa. So I love how in the fire module, you take us through the 4 pathways of fire. And one of them is the fire of relationship. And you talk about, in the fire of relationship, you talk about what you just said, that you really need to start with yourself, the relationship to yourself, and the
Yes.
self-love. Could you say a little more about that?
Yes. I I put it into the fire element too. Normally, it's just seen in the water element, and we saw it with Sienna Sherman too. The beauty of the sexual energy, but here more than the sexual energy is the fire of commitment. We commit, and to commit with somebody, we have to start with ourselves. Because if we don't have that commitment of self alchemy with ourselves, how are we gonna go deep with somebody else? We're always gonna be blaming on them what we're missing, what we would love to have, what we would love from the other person, instead of be doing the work from us. So it's super important to step up and say, okay, I'm here, I'm present, this is me, this is what I'm feeling, these are my emotions, this is my shadows, and I commit to put in the fire the alchemy of self transformation. So it's really coming back to self all the time. Stop projecting, stop blaming it outside, and really accepting that everything we feel, everything that's not flowing in our lives, everything is a reflection from how we are vibrating inside. When we see that, it's amazing. Life just changes into heaven on earth. But we really have to be present, because the mind, the emotions, our old patterns, our old beliefs are always wanting to come back and bring us back to our shadows, bring us back to our lower self. That's the nature of the mind. That's the nature of ego. So the more conscious we are, the more aware we are, the more present we are, then the easier it is to be committed to that self alchemy. Then the easier it is to be stepping it up into a higher frequency, which is the frequency of love. Then the easier it is to attract that relationship we've been dreaming of. And it can be somebody new, and it can even be the partner we have right now. It doesn't have to be somebody different. We open up and we inspire the person we're with to bring it up with us, but it has to start with us, not with them and us asking them to change or do something different.
Yeah, so I love what you just said. And for me, every emotional challenge, every life challenge, every it's like we're in this earth school. We're here learning these lessons, and we learn lesson after lesson, and if we don't learn the lesson, we keep getting the same opportunity to learn that lesson. So we have these challenges, these obstacles that appear, and I love the idea that each of these challenges or obstacles is actually an opportunity for us to learn and to grow and to do the soul work that we are here in this earth school to do. And I feel like this alchemy we're talking about is the transformation of these shadow places, of these wounds, of these traumas into our medicine, both for ourselves and for the world. What do you think about that, Juan Pablo?
That is beautiful. If we analyze the word emotion, I love how they put energy in motion. That really resonated with me when I heard it the first time. It's like, oh, judging these emotions like anger is bad and fear is bad and be happy, happiness is good, and all these judgments, and it's not real, it's just energy. We just don't know how to deal with it because they never taught us. So it's all these emotions like a roller coaster that come and go, and we kind of run away from the darkness and we just want the light. Everybody just wants to be happy and joyful and blissful, but you can't have one without the other, right? In order to have one, we need the other. That's the balance. But we use the other one to elevate the frequency into love. So if we analyze love, what would be the opposite of love? It's not even hatred. I feel love, the opposite is fear. When you're fearful, you're out of love. When you're in love, there's no fear. You're totally trusting the universe. You're totally tapped in to your highest self, to the of yourself. It's about really using all these emotions, turning fear into love. How? Accepting it, breathing it, working it as for example, there's many methods, but for example, in the five elements, we teach a lot of how to do this in different ways. There's many ways that people can choose and say, I like it with sound, I like it with breath, I love it with asana, I love it all. It doesn't matter how you do it. What's important is committing to that self alchemy, starting with accepting. If we don't accept, we're kind of running away from what it would be really the bridge that will connect us to our heart.
Mm. That's so true. I find that that place of acceptance, it's like loving what is, making sure that we look at what's showing up in our field, in our mind, in our relationships, in any situation in life. And the reflection gives us an opportunity to love a part of ourselves that we may have pushed away in the past, or somebody else may have taught us to push it away. You know, we may have learned along our journey that certain parts of ourselves were not okay. And so we've sort of disowned these parts. So I love what you just said, that the first step is acceptance. It's just being with whatever those thought forms are, whatever those limiting beliefs, whatever is actually coming up. And we notice maybe self-love might not feel like the easiest path. We might hear a lot of other trains of thought in our mind, or we might, you know, just be bombarded with emotions, like you said, or different things. If we can just sort of take it down a notch and accept that that's the reality in this moment, or that's the thought that's coming through, and actually just simply love that thought, that is a really, really good place to begin.
Yes. Yes. And all the emotions that come and all the thoughts, if you go deep, they're like the branches, they're like the fruits, the leaves of the tree. And they're just telling us how the roots are. So if we don't listen to them and we try to run away, are inside of us. So when you analyze the tree and you say, oh my God, what is this leaf telling me? What is this emotion telling me? Let me go deep. Why do I feel I'm not good enough? Where did that start in my life? So that is the self, the inner journey, right? The self journey of inquiry, of being present without judging, because many times we're so used to judging. This is good, this is bad, I shouldn't feel this, oh, it's too much, I can't. And we're just in this mode of judgment, which is totally away from love. So when you're not judging anymore, you're not tagging, you're just wondering, oh, interesting, I love that word, interesting. Oh, look what just popped up. Oh, look at that reaction. Oh, look at that thought. Amazing. Look at that emotion. And then let me go deeper. Why am I feeling this? And then when you go into this journey, you find that your inner child feels lonely, that your inner child didn't have your mother or your father when you needed to, that you weren't taken into consideration with all your feelings and emotions you had, and all these wounds that we all have. Nobody had the perfect parents ever, because nobody teaches us to be parents. So it's not even about blaming them or blaming anybody outside of us, just being conscious of whatever wound there is, taking the time to go inside, love ourselves, hug ourselves, and not only physically, but literally with every emotion and thought that comes. I tell my inner child, Juanpa, I'm here. I love you. Thank you so much. You have all the right to feel what you're feeling. And you know what? You're not alone anymore. And I'm not going to be looking anymore a mother in my partner, for example. I'm not going to be looking a father in my brothers, in my friends. It's all inside of me. So when you take that step, then you really enter into self-love. Then we're really talking about the heart and the connection, direct connection with your divine self.
Yeah, one of my teachers, I learned about the subconscious mind, and that the subconscious mind is, about 95% of our consciousness, and the conscious mind is only maybe from 2 to 5% online in any given moment. And so what happens is all of this sort of emotional energy gets kind of stuck in this vast subconscious mysterious place that's can be hard for us to access. And what this teacher taught me is that when something's bubbling up to the surface, when this thought comes, or when this situation, this experience with another person comes, or a challenge you're experiencing in your life, maybe it's a physical challenge in your body, an emotional challenge, or a life circumstance challenge, it's actually something in your own subconscious that's bubbling up because it's ready to be worked with and healed and released. So whatever trauma is living in there, whatever emotional story, it's actually coming up for your attention, for you to give it love so that it can release and heal and move and alchemize into the medicine that it is for you. So I love that, just the idea that whatever is arising because it needs your love now, and it's ready to be healed and moved and transformed.
Exactly. And always love, we can choose. It's like before, in the era of pieces, when we were before 2000, it was all about being suffering, like the path of suffering, and that's how we were learning. That's where the frequency of humanity was. But after the year 2000, we started stepping up the frequency, not only of humanity but of planet Earth. And now we're in the frequency of love, coming into this frequency where we can choose. We still have the old beliefs of, oh, we need to suffer, life is so hard, it's so difficult. And another is just breathe love into it. You can choose love. So whenever something comes up, it's just, I love myself, I breathe in love, like I literally inhale and I feel love, I feel prana entering every cell, every part of my being is being lightened up, and I can visualize that. And I can visualize myself hugging my inner child and loving him as I've never loved him before. And when I feel just compassion, oh, it's so much compassion for where I'm at. There's no more tags or judgment. And it's beautiful way to go into the unconscious too, especially when you're meditating or when you're in deep shavasana or deep sleep with these intentions. We can really let go of these subconscious sufferings and wounds, as you were saying, because if we don't abandon ourselves to this process, what we are is we're stuck just in the conscious mind. The conscious is always protecting ourselves. The mind doesn't want to go deep into the subconscious because it hurts a lot. So at some point when we were children, we kind of created this barrier of disconnection from our unconscious because it would have been too much suffering. And it was something natural we had to do to survive, but then it stayed there, and then it's like very difficult to bring it up. But when it naturally flourishes, then we address it with love and compassion. I call it the Pandora house, the Pandora box, because when you're in a relationship or when you're having like a deep, intensive emotions with somebody or something in your life, all these parts come out, and it's like, oh my God, there's like my tyrant or my witch or my dark side, that comes up, and I don't like it at all. But it comes up also because I haven't dealt with it in the unconscious world. That's why it's so important. When we deal with it, then we're more balanced. Then there's not that big ups and downs in our lives. So, oh, I'm so in peace, I'm so in love, everything's so beautiful. And then all of a sudden, all these shadows come up that it's like, oh, that's not even me. Where did that come from? Well, it comes from this unconscious mind that we're not dealing with.
Yeah, and so I know yoga definitely deals with the subconscious and raising the consciousness through the witness, being able to bring the witness online. It's like the witness is the part of us that can then work with those subconscious and, becoming conscious kind of patterns and tendencies, and choose consciously what to do with them. So choosing to bring this energy of love into that present moment is something that yoga teaches us, the power of the witness. And I'm curious, Juan Pablo, if you could talk a little bit about the shamanic perspective and how you weave in shamanism in terms of all of these techniques to bring us into a place of self-love and into a place of raising our consciousness.
Yes, in shamanism, for example, in the Toltecs, we call in the spirit of the jaguar, for example. The spirit of the jaguar is the one that's always present. Balam. It's always present and it's always observing. If you see a cat, a jaguar, it's like whatever happens, you're there. So ego comes up and a wound comes up. You don't let it pass by and then you accumulate all this stuff. You're always present so you can deal with stuff. Always. So they see it as the jaguar and they see it also as the eagle. The eagle is the one that can observe. So you see something, but you don't identify yourself. You know that it's part not only of you and your past and whatever has happened, but it's also of the unconscious mind of humanity. So in shamanism, we always work with the individual, but knowing we're working with the whole humanity. There's no separation. So every work you're doing personally, you're doing it for humanity. And for me, that's the big inspiration because really sometimes I'm not inspired even at the beginning, especially I felt even like sadness and where I'm healing myself, but I'm healing humanity. So every work we do is related to that. And for example, where they start for self-love, it's not even like how we start in Western world. That's you have to love your body and love your emotions and love your mind, and it's all perfect, it's all good. Like I like that theory, but it hasn't worked for me. Like, okay, how much care have I taken of myself? How have I so and a lot with ego, feeling your inner child or where we feel and just reacting in our lives to these wounds.
Wampa, you cut out there for a little bit.
And then, okay,
Yeah, maybe just
okay,
repeat your last couple of sentences because you kind of cut out.
yes. So the first work, as we said, it's about the inner child and really healing those wounds of the inner child, really truthfully seeing ourselves for whatever we have, love to that part. And then start recapitalizing. The Toltecs, for example, call this work actually that recapitulation, and it's about going through every relationship you've had and really analyzing if you let go of your power or your energy somehow. So really visualizing the persons we've been with. Loving ourselves means bringing back the energy, our wholeness, our integrity. How many times we have betrayed ourselves and we said no when we felt a yes, or we said yes when we felt a no. So recapitulation is going back and saying, I am whole. I call in all the parts that I didn't listen to myself, that I violated myself, that I betrayed myself. I call them back and I connect with the person and I ask from my soul, the person, to bring that energy back to me, to my soul. And I give back, I offer to the person. And I love doing this work of visualization of cutting with golden scissors, like the cords that we have from the navel, from the solar plexus, cutting any codependence that we've had in our relationships before. So this work is super deep because it just brings you to your 100% who you really are. A work I love to do that I would love to share with people. Can you hear me well? Yeah. Is good connection? Is connection good?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Okay. So another work I love to do is it's the work that the Toltecs do, and I would love to share just a little exercise with people so they can take something with them and they can use it, like maybe not even now because it would take more time, but just at their own time. I would like to explain it so they can see it, and if they want to write it down, if you guys want to write it down and practice it after. I do it almost every day, because every day we are letting go of our power without being conscious, little things, but it's so good to see like how keep clear all our relationships. At the beginning you do it with old relationships, but then you do it just during the day, whenever you didn't speak your truth, whenever you didn't listen to yourself. So it's very simple work. You first meditate for 3-4 minutes in whatever you want. It can be old relationships, it can be during the day, how you felt, how was your day. And then you do get into a comfortable position, and you do breath of fire. Breath of fire brings up from the belly whatever trauma there is with your intention. So breath of fire, just to go over it, it's through the nose, exhaling, focusing in the exhalation. So it's a nice rhythm that we can do, mostly focusing in the exhalation. It can be for at least 1 minute. You want the fire to be activated, and you want the navel to be moving when you exhale. So it's finding your rhythm. When you finish at least 1 minute, you exhale all the air out. Then you inhale and you bring your chin towards your right side, and you exhale through the mouth like this. Yes. So what this does is that it's recodifying, it's rewiring the nervous system. These movements in the neck, and now it's studied scientifically too, even though Toltecs have done it for thousands of years. Now there's an explanation for that. Very simple. I'll go over it again. So we start just exhaling through the nose, very clear of the pattern that you want to release, of the person you want to let go of whatever part of your soul you want to call into yourself again. Strong through the nose, yes, strong fire breath. When you finish, you bring inhaling your right to your right shoulder, inhaling through the nose, and then you exhale through the mouth like blowing a candle. And you can keep going, inhaling to the right and exhaling to the left. And this you can do for as long as you want. I've been there 15 minutes, 20 minutes. There's no time or space. When you are really committed to yourself, alchemy, time doesn't matter. You're just there, you light up a candle, you're loving it, you're really surrendering to the process, and you just go for it. You feel when you really let go, you really feel it when it's transformed, when it's gone. And whenever you need maybe new thoughts, oh, sitting down and okay, what do I have to?
Wampa, you cut out again for a minute there. So we'll let your connection kind of reset. So that was a really beautiful practice, Toltec practice. And one of the things I love about these types of practices, it's a way to shift our state as well. So shifting our state is a powerful tool that we learn both in yoga and shamanic work about how to shift our state, how to access different states of consciousness in order to clear.
Oh, there you are.
There we are.
What happened?
I don't know. We're not in Mercury retrograde, are we?
It looks like it.
Do we have everybody with us?
Yes, they're still
Okay,
there.
good. Okay. So
Yes, it's very simple practice.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's very simple. That's why I love about simplicity. It's not so much complicated. We don't need like a 2-hour yoga class. It's very simple. It's just being conscious and with the intention letting go. It has changed my life. Like I feel so clear now. There's no, all my relationships I clear. Like the partners in my life are my best friends right now. Even the mother of my son. Like she's my best friend. And we've had a 10-year relationship. We had a lot of work to do together. And now she's my sister. And this is thanks to the work that I'm doing on myself. It's not even with her. So when you commit to that self alchemy and we change it inside, then then you see the person naturally changes.
Totally. And that work of, bringing it into the body, it's one thing to think about, self-love and to even tell yourself I love you, but to bring it into our bodies and embody the experience of self-love. And one thing that these practices, like you just taught us, Juan Pablo, it really brings us into the body, into a felt embodied
Yes,
experience of how we can shift our state and raise our awareness and also clear out the energy, because like you said, emotion is energy in motion. So clear out the energy that maybe is more heavy, and maybe, we want to put a label, maybe more negative, but we can clear these things out with our
yes,
breath, with our body. And then we can also
yes,
contact our bodies and find the resource of the places in our body that feel really resourced and powerful and open. And we can anchor our experience of self-love right into our bodies. And for me, one of
yes,
the places where I really feel that I can access that is actually in my belly. So when I breathe into my belly, it's an opportunity for me to really ground and feel my body, but also ground and anchor this experience of love into my whole body. I think that's a really important thing,
yes.
because so many of us really stay up here in our minds, and we spend all of our time here. And
Mhm.
yogic techniques and these shamanic techniques really help us to embody and move the energy in a very powerful way that is very effective. And like you said, it can be really quick. It can take 5 minutes and shift the
Yes.
energy and realign ourselves in a place of love and move forward in our day from a totally different place. I love that.
Totally, totally. See, and what you're saying about the belly, it's great because in the belly, in the organs, is where all the emotions are. And when you really learn to breathe into the belly, and especially I love this technique of holding the breath. When we hold the inhalation, we are rewiring the brain too. So after this Toltec practice, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I just saw it. Okay, after the Toltec practice, we inhale very sweetly for say a count of four, inhaling. We hold it, and then we exhale with a little sound. The sound really helps. It's like a really relief. The sound, it comes from the organs. That's why it's so important. It comes from the core. And it's so simple. You inhale into the belly. If you're inhaling four, you can hold in two or hold in four. Then you exhale with the sound. You do your you feel the change completely. It's amazing. It's simple. People can understand when I teach them. Like they're so used to complicated stuff. It's really all the
Well, Pablo, that's one of the things I love so much about what you teach in the fire element, the fire module, and the 5 elements of yoga, because you take us through each week. Wampa teaches a 4-week module on the fire element, and each week he offers a really beautiful practice. Well, a couple of practices, but one is very focused on these types of pranayama breath techniques that he just offered. Can you guys hear me?
yes.
You can hear me? Okay. So anyway, the practices that you offer are truly transformational and really powerful and very quick. And they're actually very unique. It's not even found in many yogas, these types of practices that you teach. And it's very powerful, these breath work and bringing that into our asana practice so that we really can do the work of transformation of the depths of the shadow pieces, so that we really can be in a place of love that really is embodied, a place of full embodiment of self-love. Wampa, are you there? Can you all hear me? I think we might have just lost Juan Pablo. Maybe he'll make it back. We were about to close anyway here. It's about 45 minutes in, and oh, there's Wampa. If anybody has any questions, I want to invite you to raise your hand. You can press the little hand raise button or chat into your webinar chat box. And if you have any questions, I welcome you to raise your hand and ask. Hi, Julie.
Hi, I was just going to say that you disabled the chat box, and that's why if you're not seeing anything.
Okay. I'm not skilled enough to know how I did that. So
this has been great. Thank you, Wampa.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Nikki. Are you there? Nikki, oh,
can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I was on mute. Thank you all so much for letting me join this very nice webinar this evening. Hi, Wampa. We were in our last module together with Saul. And thank you for sharing these awesome breath techniques. I did have a question about the breath of fire. So you inhale through your nose and exhale, concentrating on the exhale out your nose, correct? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Juan Pablo, did you hear that? Wampa, can you hear us?
Sorry. Hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
I didn't hear the question.
So we're having a faulty connection. I'm so sorry, you all. Nikki, yeah, you do breathe out you inhale and exhale through your nose for the breath of fire. But Juan Pablo does teach some similar breath of fire breaths where you also breathe out through the mouth. So there are different ways to do it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This was great. Thanks so much.
You're so welcome. Thanks for chiming in. All right. So, Wampa, I think it's time to close. Do you want to close with any final thoughts on maybe even your own personal journey of working with the alchemy of self-love and how that's helped you in your path?
Yeah, I just want to encourage you all to keep going, not lost the shadow. Me?
We're kind of losing you, Wampa.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you, but not super well. Not super well.
Just encouraging the journey of oh. Hello? Oh, there you are. Can you...
Yeah, it's not great. It's not a great connection. So anyway, thank you so much,
Sorry.
Pablo. Thank you so much for offering your teachings tonight, and really just wishing you all an incredible journey through this week and in your own alchemy and self-love, especially as we go into Valentine's Day and all that can arise in each and every one of us, the excitement to all the other emotions. You know, let's keep remembering to come back to ourselves and to remember to
Yes.
love each and every emotion, each and every opportunity for growth that arises in us, to turn it into an opportunity to love ourselves even more deeply. And I want to
Yes.
invite you all as well to come and join us for the 5 Elements of Yoga online immersion. We're starting our program over again in March, this March. And Juan Pablo is joined by 4 other master teachers who take you on a journey through the elements, through a connection to nature, through each element in yoga, which is truly the foundation of where yoga and all of these ancient practices, shamanic practices as well, come from. It's all about how we connect to yoga, or to connect to nature, and embody these elements and their medicine in our own lives and for the world, as those of us who want to be in service. So truly grateful for you all. You can find us at hanumanacademy.com. You can find the 5 Elements program at hanumanacademy.com/enroll. And we just are so grateful to share the teachings with you. Thank you, Juan Pablo. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you.
Love you too.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.